All right, so I guess we'll move on to music.
All right.
I know music's the best. Taylor, what music have you been indulging in?
I've been listening to a group called Cold War Kids. So first off, let me just say describe what kind of musicians they are. So their music is they're labeled as an American indie rock band from Long Beach, California. Yeah. So they are stated to be a rock, blues, blue-eyed soul group. Now, I don't know if you've heard what a blue-eyed soul group is before, but I looked it up online, and it says a blue-eyed soul group is a rhythm, blues, soul music performed by white artists. They have their own genre of music. Whatever. I never heard of that before. So the album that I'm talking about is called New Age Norms 1, and it is absolutely a straight banger. So, man, I listened to this song called Complainer, and if I closed my eyes and wish hard enough, I felt like I was listening to like Prince a little bit. They use a very good variety of using their regular voice, head voice, and falsetto, kind of like he did. So it's very funky and really, really good. The lyrics are great, the singing's great, the music's great, and they have a really good album cover, which you will see probably in the video. So, man, I would give it a shout out any day of the week, okay? Because no matter what they do, any song on that album is a banger that you're going to tap your toe to and you're going to sing to.
And what year did the album come out?
So this album came out in 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
New Age Norms 1.
Do you know how many?
Yeah.
Before this one, or is this like your first one?
See, and that's the thing. That this is the first album that I've never heard of them before. This popped up on my, I think it was just my Apple Music random station that I created off of one of my songs. Yeah, and it just popped up, and I was like, oh shoot, okay, I like this. As far as the music that they've done, I don't want to give a number that I don't know. I wish I did, but I can't say for certain how many albums that they've had. Hopefully a lot, because they're freaking great.
I've definitely before. It's a familiar name.
Do what?
So I've definitely heard of them before. It's a very familiar name.
Yeah, they actually.
Yeah, it definitely sticks out.
The first song I'd ever heard by them was actually called First, which was kind of a hit. And that came out, it reminds me, it was like my junior year, so it would have been like 2012, I think, is when that came out. 2011, 2012. So they've been around for a while. Mm-hmm. That's funny you said that name, because that brought back instant memories. I was like, oh yeah, I remember them.
Well, they progressed.
Well, that's good. We don't want them to degress, so that's a good sign.
What are some of the other songs?
That is a fair point.
Yeah, I would say, what are some other good songs that off the album they'd suggest? Like, what are your top 3?
So, I'll give you my top 2, okay? Because I'm not going to give you too much, because I don't want you to go and search for these songs and then be disappointed with the album. So, Complainer is definitely my number 1, and I think my number 2 is also going to be the second starred on their album. If you go and look on iTunes, you know how it has their like recommended stars next to the ones that are straight. Awesome. Right. But Dirt in My Eyes is another great one as well that I would suggest for you to look at and listen to. Same difference. It's the same music, different style. So you're not listening to the same song over and over and over again, which drives people nuts. And drives me nuts too. But those are the 2 that I'd recommend. Go listen to Cold War Kids, New Age Norms 1, Dirt in My Eyes, and Complainer.
Awesome. Well, yeah, for sure. We'll do. I'm excited. I haven't heard them in a while, like I said, so definitely gonna check them out.
You better be. Right. You better be excited. They're great.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic.
He had you like gunpoint.
I know. I felt threatened. I was like, okay, I am excited.
Obey the law.
That's right. All right. So, Reese, what music have you been diving into lately?
Man, so the most recent album that I actually picked up is brand new. Just came out a couple of days ago, called Tension by the band Anchor and Braille, which, if you don't know, is the solo project of Stephen Christian, who is the vocalist for the band Amberlin. So, if you're a fan of Amberlin, I highly recommend that you listen to this album, especially since we haven't got any kind of new music from Amberlin in almost like 6 years. But basically, it's kind of like a pseudo Amberlin album per se. But to kind of walk you through it, it's definitely a project that's really cool to check out by Stephen Christian, because he's done 2 albums before, or 2 or 3 albums on the Anchor and Braille project in the past that I checked out a few years ago. I was like, well, this is really cool. It's very folky. There was some acoustic stuff on there, as well as a few full band arrangements that were like super ambient, sort of like Amberlin. So that's kind of what sucked me into it at first. But this album, Tension, just took that and just took it to another level. So the best way I can sell this album to you is it sounds like if Stephen Christian took Amberlin and they remixed some of their top hit songs and basically put like a top 40 twist on it. So you have all these different styles throughout the album, whether that's like, which was a big departure from like I said, the folky ambient style of the previous albums. He completely took this a different direction, and his vocals on this album, you talk about how great he is in Amberlin, he takes that to another level as well. He does things vocally that you've never heard him do before, which is really interesting because you're like, wow, I didn't know he could hit that note, or, oh, I never heard his voice in that style before. So him kind of taking that pop vocal approach to these songs was something new and fresh and really got me excited. Some of the key songs and highlights for me that you should definitely check out if you want to hear the whole album, or if you want to check out these singles. Eventful Horizon, which is a very dynamic kind of pop ballad, but it has this massive chorus where he just lets loose, and then instrumentally it just like picks up and then goes back to the verse and drops back down. So like that's a very powerful lead single that he put out. And then another great single, which was super catchy and groovy, and honestly, like it felt like I was listening to a top 40 song in a good way, called Dangerous. And even just saying that melody just it's like an earworm. But highly recommend checking out that one. Another one that's kind of like a 70s disco ballad kind of song is called Tethered. And he does some really interesting vocal runs and melodies in that. The hook on that one is very, very catchy for sure. And then a couple other songs to check out: Slow Motion, Phantom Pain. Those were just overall instrumentally excellent, and the production's just fantastic. There's a lot of really cool sound that like I haven't even heard on pop radio before that he's doing in these. And like I said, his is on another level, like stuff that you would have never imagined him doing that he completely pulls off. So highly recommend y'all check out Anchor and Braille's Tension album. And what are your thoughts?
First off, I love Amberlin. So anything that's got him singing anything, I'm in, because I can't get enough. I know on their last live performance, they said they might be putting out some new music. Yes. So just having a sense of hope that we're going to be listening to Amberlin again, I am definitely game to give his solo album a shot, or his side project a shot, because one, great musician, talented songwriter, great stage performer. He's got the whole package. Why wouldn't you like him? Why wouldn't you like them? So absolutely 100% agree. We'll check out.
Yeah, this will definitely like hold you over until that new Amberlin comes out. And the crazy thing is like he doesn't play these songs live, so like you never really know what this project sounds like live, because most of his releases have just been albums. And so yeah, there's something to consider there, to where it's all just album releases. but it will definitely hold you over. Lane, have you got to check this album out yet?
So I've only heard the single that was released from it, but I loved it because it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't the more folksy stuff he's done with the past two albums. And I really wanted him to break the mold here. And you just now saying that, I was like, kind of confirmed it with that single. It definitely feels like he was splitting off in a new but great direction. And I'm really excited to listen to it top to bottom. Because like the past albums, I love just going on a car ride and listening to them. I mean, it was great. It's great music to just chill to. Like, it's so relaxing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super excited, especially if he really showcases his talent or his vocal talents in this.
Yes.
That's exciting to me because it seemed like he didn't really. I mean, live he would do that with Damon for sure. I mean, he did some incredible notes, but more it felt like the recordings he would kind of hold back a little bit to give everyone some spotlight because he's just that kind of guy.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really excited now that you're talking about it. It's getting me pumped up to listen to it top to bottom. I just really want to zone in and just block out everything else and really dive into it. So I'm definitely going to do that this week.
Yeah, I listened to it a couple of times. The first time I listened to it, I was sitting in the office and kind of just taking it in, not really paying attention to everything, just kind of experiencing. And then just the other day, I was out running some errands and listened to it in the car, top to bottom, and it just had a whole different experience. Like you were saying, driving around.
Yeah.
I like to kind of do that, listen to albums in different environments and see how they speak to me. Like there were songs that jumped out at me during the car ride that didn't jump out to me when I was listening at home. So,
Right.
but basically what I would take from this album is awesome instrumentals, really innovative production, crazy good vocals, and I would really hope that they take some of these elements and possibly bring those into Amberlin's next album. Like, it may or may not, but I think that would be really, really interesting to see what Amberlin would sound like with some of these themes brought into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a good chance that could end up happening. So, never know.
I can hope so.
Yeah,
That's about
I'd
it.
be pumped up.
Yeah. Oh, straight away.
Yeah, like I said, I'm on board. Like Taylor said, if it's Amberlin or anything Stephen Christian, I'm on board 100%. So yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, there we go.
Attention.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and switch gears. My album is actually a little more old school, and it is from the year I was born, actually. So this will tell my age, our age, I guess, all of us. 1994.
Except for him.
And it's, well, okay. Sorry, Taylor, you're the old soul here.
I'm out.
No, but that is none other than Weezer's Blue album,
All right.
which, fun fact, was my very last album for the Facebook challenge. So I ended it, I think, right. Weezer is just one of those bands that's just has evolved so much through the years. I've loved them, ever since I started listening to them. And what's crazy about them is that this album, as y'all know, has so many hits on it. I mean, it's got like Buddy Holly, My Name is Jonas, Say It Ain't So. And it's incredible to me that they packed an album with such great hits, but continued to evolve. Like, that's really hard for a band to do, to pack so many great tunes and then keep it going and keep it rolling.
For sure.
And they did a really good job of that. But I love the dynamic of this album. It's so, even the songs you don't really know, you can still sit there and bob your head to, because you're like, well, I don't really know the song, but it's familiar to me without getting boring.
Good head.
So, yeah.
Very
so,
true.
Sure.
yeah. So I don't know. Weezer just, they bring me comfort in these times. And so, yeah. I don't know. Do y'all have anything to add to that?
Weezer's very interesting. I mean, they can take like really anything and make it just Weezer. It's hard to say, okay, this person sounds like this person sounds like this person. Weezer is one of those bands that actually, when they play music and stick out, you go, that's a different song, but that's Weezer. It's like it's their own style, and they've been doing it for so long that they have like created this fan base that knows Weezer is going to put out new music. It's going to be great, but it's also going to be different.
Right.
And we're still going to be able to say that's that same band that I fell in love with in the 90s, 2000s. Now it's just that's their that's their like key element that makes them such a good band and makes people just keep coming back and going to shows.
Yeah.
And Weezer's great.
They've almost kind of created their own genre within, punk rock music.
Right.
Know it to where it's like you have all these bands, Green Day, Fall Out Boy, that kind of created their own version of pop punk. And then you've got Weezer over here in this little pocket universe that's kind of also influenced those bands and other bands, but like kind of reinvented that each time they put out a new album.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, especially with their, what was it, the Teal album where they did nothing but covers, that to me is so cool to see a big band like that covering other big band songs. And it's like, it's not beneath them to do it. And they also do it in such a way that, like Taylor said, it's so Weezer. Like, they're not trying to copy them or replicate what they're doing. And they're not trying to show them up. They're just like, oh, we want to try it out and see how it goes for us. And I mean, it's just amazing because they seem like such like awesome dudes. Like, I'd love to hang out with them because I bet they're just so normal. Just like, oh yeah, it's just kind of, it is what it is. And like I said, they're in their own universe. Like, they just do what they do best, and that's it. And they stick to such like bare bones. They're not like over the top in their production. Like, it's just so minimal stuff, but they do it so incredibly well that you're like, wow, like it sounded like there was so much more sound in that space than what it actually was. Like, you're thinking like big arena stuff, but they're just it's just straight guitars and yeah, it's just
and it's kind of like you said. I mean, it goes back to our concept with It's Always Sunny. They have reached the point where they're just having fun and we're just along for the ride. And we're going to keep doing what they do, especially with the covers too, man. I mean, it doesn't matter what they play or how they play it. It's always going to be unique to Weezer, despite it being someone else's song. So I'm on board.
I mean, the fact that they covered Africa by Toto, that was a massive song, especially in recent years. And for them to step up to the plate and completely knock that out of the park and surprise everyone, that was really cool to see.
And you have those people that are now going to say, hey, did you heard that song Toto, right? And they're like, oh, by Weezer? And they're like, no. Okay, first off, yes, but also Africa song. I mean, it's yeah. I think
that's true. I wonder if, well, yeah, we get where you're going.
I did. You know what I meant, though, so it's okay. You know what I meant.
Yeah, we know what you meant. The Toto by Weezer Africa, right?
Yeah. Weezer's Africa Toto album. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
I like that one. It's one of my favorite ones.
Comes out next year.
So what are your highlights from this album?
The highlights from the Blue album?
Yeah.
Honestly, to me, Buddy Holly's a big one. My Name is Jonas. Say It Ain't So. I mean, also I could list the whole album. Wax Surf America. That's another, I think, underrated one that's really good. Undone, the sweater song. Mm-hmm. That one to me is really special because I actually got to see them perform it live when they played with Panic at the Disco a while back. It was about, I think, 4 years ago. And that was really cool because it just captured, it was such a Weezer moment because they like, it was raining and they just kept playing. Like, they're like, we don't really care. Like, we're just going to keep playing. Like, so what? And so Undone Sweater songs are really one of my personal favorite ones off that album because they're just playing through the rain. I was like, wow, these guys are like just it's so rock and roll, man. But yeah, it was it was a fun concert. They just put on a really great show. And like I said, they actually didn't headline it, which was crazy. It was Panic at the Disco headlining it. But again, they don't, like, they're just kind of like, we're just glad to be
humble.
Glad to be here. Yeah, and they're very humble dudes. Like, they're just good people. So, yeah. So there you have it.
It's an important album for the genre, and coming out in '94, it's that just like sparked so many bands that were inspired by them in the 2000s, and kind of just started a revolution, basically.
Just pure, unadulterated rock. So there you go.
Nice.
All right, well, I guess that sums it up for music.